Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate. He was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate. He's violent.
We're going to go ahead and do this, right? I'm going to go ahead and get into a new topic here. We got some hot topics, y'all. We got not hot topics, but we got some hot news that I definitely want to cover, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. Let's get to hot news. Let's get to the hot news out here real. All right. Let's go ahead and get this thing out. Now, we're going to switch gears. You know, that's why I, drop that real quick. We're going to switch gears. There's a certain individual out here talking. And listen, my thing is this, right, y'all? I believe that NLE Choppa is somebody who was speaking on certain topics that matters. And I think that we all should take a listen in as to what he had to say. Sometimes individuals have this certain way about them to where they hold some sort of ill will towards you, right? And it's not really, I don't know if they even realize what they're doing. I think that they just do it because they don't understand. They don't truly understand. So this is what it is here. They don't truly understand what the truth is. So what they do is they'll hold the person and they'll be judgmental towards the person without even listening to what the person has to say. I want you guys to hear NLE Choppa. I want you to hear what he has to say in regards to, honestly, some biblical things. And not by any stretch of the imagination, I won't want you to think that this person is a righteous person. Listen, he raps about certain things that are very wicked and very unrighteous. But I want you to hear what he's saying from the soul, from his spirit. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
I can only give where man is willing to receive.
That doesn't make any sense.
But yes,
that does just answer the question.
Break it down.
I don't feel like your.
I can only give where man is willing to receive.
That doesn't make any sense. But
yes,
that does just answer the question.
Break it down.
Do you feel like your experience? Do you feel like your?
Watch this. Watch this.
I can only give where man is willing to receive.
That doesn't make any sense. But
yes,
that does just answer the question.
Break it down.
Do you feel like your experience? Do you feel like your experience in the world that you can give Jonathan some advice
if he's willing to receive?
That's way out. I just spoke a
cigarette. All right, so that's right there, y'all.
So let me jump in and say this. Watch this. Watch this.
He gets up and he walks away. Man, if y'all agree with what NLE Choppa is saying right here, put a W in the chat. Put a W in the chat if you agree with it. If you disagree with it, man, put an L in the chat. Right? I'm going to play it back real quick for y'all to hear it one more time, okay? Play it back. My bad. I didn't get a chance to get this one right. Edit-wise. Let me play it back real quick for y'all.
I can only give where man is willing to receive.
That doesn't make any sense. But
yes,
that does just answer the question.
Break it down.
Do you feel like your experience? Do you feel like your experience in the world that you can give Jonathan some advice
if he's willing to receive?
That's way out. I just spoke a cigarette.
So let me jump in and say this. Watch this.
So he's saying that he can only give what a man is willing to receive, right? If you're willing to receive the advice, then he's willing to give it. I say this often, right? I keep this saying on deck all the time, and I use it all the time. Those who are convinced against their will are of the same opinion still. I mean, you got to be willing to be convinced for us to have the conversation, right? And the Bible says that don't allow another man to despise you in your youth. I mean, listen, NLE Choppa, he's a younger guy, right? He's what a rap artist is. And honestly, when it comes to wickedness, listen, he got a lot of that in his music. But like I said, when it comes to what he just said now, I got to say that I agree. If you're not willing to receive the advice, then guess what? I can't give it to you. But if you're open and ready to receive it, right, then I can give you as much advice as you need. Yes, you can be given advice. if you're open and ready to receive it. Now, a lot of this conversation has sparked a lot of controversy, y'all, because when this individual went on to the podcast, and I'm gonna show you guys a larger boom. Oh, my bad. He's in a industry, right, that is wicked. He's in an industry that's satanic. He's in an industry that honestly, they don't respect the principles of the Most High, right? That's the type of industry he's truly in. I say, okay, sister, she said, I disagree. I disagree, because if what you have to give is good, then men will receive it when he needs it. And that is not on your time, because you have given it. So with that comment right there, right? I understand where you're coming from with that, right? Because even though you said it, right, he might not have received it right then and there, but maybe it'll sink in later. Maybe the seed that you're planted, right, it will sink in and it will fester and it will grow. But it's the same thing, right? So when you say you disagree, you actually are still agreeing with them. You still are actually agreeing, because, and here's the reason why. Here's the reason why you're still actually agreeing with him in his position. Even though he's still giving the advice and it's not being received right then and there, it might sink in later, right? And it might develop, and he might actually come to the knowledge of it and say, you know what, that was some great advice. The reason why you're agreeing is because the individual was not ready to receive it at that time. So if you're ready to receive, if you're willing to receive my advice, I can give it, right? I can give the advice if you're willing to receive it. Some people don't even want you to give your advice. Some people like, man, I didn't ask you for advice. I just want you to be an ear. I'm just venting. You understand what I'm saying? And some people will shut up their ears and not even hear anything you got to say. They might hear nuances of it, like those seeds being planted. But at the end of the day, you still said what you said, and they were not ready to be receptive to it, right? And that's what he's saying. Like, he's saying that when I speak on something, give you my advice on something, you might not be ready to receive my advice, right? If you're ready to receive it, if you're willing to receive the advice, then guess what? That's when it can be given, right? So they didn't receive it right then, but later it sunk in. That's when they were able to receive that advice. They didn't receive it before when he first said it. He's not giving it advice. He's giving maybe contention. He's giving maybe strife, right? Because this individual is being contentious with him now, because he's giving advice and, I don't want your advice, blah, blah, blah. But he can't give advice if it's not received, if it's no acceptance. The only time it's great advice or good advice is when it's been received, when it's receptive, when somebody's gotten it, when it's sunken in. That's the only time it's great advice. It's never labeled to be great advice or good advice or exceptional advice until the individual realizes its value. Until the individual realizes its value, it's still just hot air. It's still just nonsense that you're talking. It's still just contention and strife that's going forth, right? That's what it is. But once the individual realizes the value of it, that's when it's actually great advice. That's when it's actually good advice. That's the only time it can actually become that, right? All right. So let's go ahead and open that up. Hopefully I'm explaining that in a way that can be received. Boom. Let's go here real quick. There we go. Let's hope that I got this
Y'all
one right.
tell me at the table, what makes you happy? What makes you have the most joy?
That question, man, is to a black man, Kirk. He has to pause. Notice everybody's body language.
Why is that?
Because we often are not the receptors of happiness and joy. We're often looking to provide it for someone else.
We as black men have to talk about mental health, right? Like, I agree. But we are all born into a society in which our narrative, right? Our narrative as black men, we're born into a narrative that puts us downhill. Yeah. And then you end up having to pretend that you're somebody that you're not to get through certain doors that I got through.
Is the pressure that you feel being connected as being a black man, or just you just feel it in general?
I don't feel pressure. I feel honored. You know what I'm saying? I feel honored. Because I'm a firm believer when that pressure is being formed, that's what created the diamonds. What made me feel it was an honor is because our job as a black man is to go through the obstacles to be able to uplift the other people that have not overcame the obstacles. And it's still a, it's a war. We win one battle and then we move on to the next. We climb one mountain, then we got to go to the next.
Yeah.
But service to others is one of the most important things, and even a wise man once said, to piggyback off Jonathan, service to others is what pays our rent in heaven. Heaven can be accomplished right here.
Like, I hear you, young brother. Like, I hear you. You know what I mean? I really do. And I hear you too, Kev. But in that dark space.
Now, he says that heaven can be accomplished right here on earth. I disagree with that. Because heaven is a divine place. It's very unique to its characteristics. Now, heaven and earth has been created at the same time, in the same voice, on the same instance, at the same split second, right? So heaven and earth is the same age. They're both as old as each other. But the characteristics of heaven are totally different from the characteristics on this earth. Right now, in the age that we're living in right now, the times that we're living in right now, you can be living in what would be considered and characterized as hell a little bit more faster than you can live in what's characterized as being heaven until all be fulfilled. And here's the reason why I say that, right? The reason why I say this is because prophecy must be fulfilled. If hell had to enlarge itself because how many wicked individuals will be going to hell, how can you create a space of heaven on earth? What you can create is a space of being content, of being provided for, a space of being loved by the Father. You can provide a space of love, of contentment, of honor, of peace. Those things can provide. You can provide that here on this earth. But there's still going to be hell all around you. There's still going to be all kinds of things going on all around you, trying to disturb that, trying to disrupt that. In heaven, there is perfect peace, perfect love. Everything about it is perfection. The imperfections on this earth does not amount to the things that's going on in Shemaim, in glory, in heaven. The characteristics don't align. We don't have streets that are paved with gold. We don't have mansions that everybody can dwell in. We have people who are homeless on this earth. You cannot live in a place. You cannot create a heaven on earth, and you have your brother and sister who haven't had a meal in weeks, who are living homeless on the streets, who are them, and you're tasked to love them, and they are suffering. Your relatives can barely make rent. You can't have heaven on earth, and those are the issues, right? You can't have heaven on earth and you have worldly troubles, worldly worries. You can't have heaven on earth if you can expire. These characteristics is what don't align with you're claiming, I'm gonna make my heaven on earth today. No, you can't make heaven on earth, but you can be content on this earth until Yeshua returns, because heaven is perfection. Cities paved with gold. Everybody is content. Everybody has everything provided for. We're all on the same page, one mind, one accord. There's no arguing, no bickering, no backbiting, no slander in heaven. You can suffer all of that right here on earth. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I disagree with it. I disagree with it for those reasons. We can't manifest a heaven on earth because the characteristics of heaven don't match what's going on here on this earth. And the wickedness is just going to increase. But you have to strengthen yourself in your faith and your walk. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. So that's one thing that I disagree with. Let's continue on listening in as to what NLE Choppa had to say. One thing that I don't really like is that a lot of these individuals gave him a lot of pushback, right? And it's for reasons that they didn't sit back and actually try to understand and comprehend. This reason right here is a reason to kind of challenge that. But some of the other things that he may have said, he's making a little bit of sense, even though I disagree with his lifestyle and what he's saying. You don't know when the Father's dealing with somebody, because he did not come onto the ones who could consider themselves to be righteous. He came onto the sinner. He came onto the one who's sinning, right? So you don't know who the Father's truly dealing with and trying to move and work through, right? This individual, NLE Choppa, could be inspiring a new generation to dive into the scripture, dive into the word, right? On a different level. Let's continue.
Like nothing, like sorry, like bad news, Kirk, like nothing's getting you out. Nothing's getting you. Like, no one's talking about that. Oh, my babies. Oh, my career. Oh, my life. Oh, no, that's horseshit. That's horseshit. If you had something to hold on to, you wouldn't be in that space.
Wow.
You know what I mean? My baby girl wasn't gonna get me out. My mama told me I can't get you out.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Megan couldn't get me out.
And your mama preacher.
My mama preacher.
And your mama
you know what I mean? Like,
preacher.
no one's talking about that. Like we can talk about, like, you know what I'm saying? Like let's cut the bullshit.
The road leads back to two. And my thing, my thing is this: if we understand the connect, man, listen. I just sat down for 3 to 4 months. I took a break. I could have made $4, $5, $6, $10 million. I left it all on the plate to sit down because something in my spirit went right. I sat down. I had to go back home. Got grounded. Stayed in my hometown, the most dangerous city that people crucify. Stayed there, planted my feet there, and went into a 112 day seek. Every day I woke up. I went outside with my notebook and I sat my feet in my grass and I stood before a tree and in nature and I just listened.
There's so many brothers who find themselves, and I am one of them, you know what I mean, who find themselves in situations and they're hearing in the back of their head, oh, but your baby.
All right, so let me talk on that real quick. That's what we all need to do. We all need to learn how to do that. When the spirit is telling us to sit down somewhere, right, and tap in, lock in, I don't care how much money on the table. How many of you have that love of money? We know that the love of money is the root of all evil, but what if that love of money lured you into a certain trap that was designed by the enemy? And then next thing you know, here you are on the front of somebody's t-shirt because the spirit told you to sit down somewhere and tap in, lock in, reset yourself. And what you chose to do is do what? You chose to go chase that bag. You chose to chase that money. You understand what I'm saying? Even though that you're provided for, even though you got an abundance of it. The spirit told you that ain't safe for you right now. You need to sit down, and you chose to go get the bag. Now you on the front of somebody's t-shirt. A lot of you probably got relatives or people that you know that you probably grew up with who ended up like that, who went to go chase the bag or went to go chase a piece of rear end, a woman, right? Went to go chase a woman, got robbed, got set up. They no longer with you because they was chasing that flesh. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you get really surprising conversations coming from individuals that you least expected. But when you listen to it with your spiritual ear, you can tap in and hone in on what the person's truly trying to say and learn from that, right? Regardless on who they are and how they live their life. If it's wickedness, unrighteousness, all that other stuff, when you listen and you lock in on it, you listening to him, he like, man, he listened to the Holy Spirit. The spirit that is dwelling with him. If it's not in him, it's upon him, right? The Father may turn his heart, turn his heart to want to do something different, to wake up and come onto the side of righteousness and come out of that darkness. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. How many of you going to tap into the spirit and make sure you have a distinct separation from your love of money to your love of the Most High Yah? Enough to say, I'm going to turn down millions of dollars in order to do what Yah's telling me to do, what the Father's telling me to do. Listen, I turned down pumping up my viewership. You feel me? I turned down pumping up my viewership, all that stuff, taking a hit to the channel because Yah told me to do 40 days of Eden, right? Get up and pray with the saints, 5 a.m. in the morning. Do what you can to live stream on a daily basis. Eat right. Get to the Daniel fast. I'm gonna listen to what the Father tells me to do. And if I gotta sit back and not speak on something that I enjoy to talk about because it brings viewers in, people want to see it, but I'm talking about things that people, I want the drama. Listen, I will cut all that out if the Father tells me WarSheep podcast is 40 days of Eden right now. We shutting it down, we getting rid of everything, and we're locking in spiritually. Guess what I'm finna do? Shutting all that down, shutting all this down. I'm locking in spiritually on the 40 days of Eden. And we're going to fellowship. We're going to fast. We're going to do the Daniel fast. We're going to pray 5 a.m. That's what the Spirit said to do. Right? So that's what I'm going to do. It's not a spirit. This is not a prayer channel. I don't do prayers. I don't do nothing but solely prayers. So the individuals who looking for prayers come here. No, that's not what I talk about. People who, I talk about other topics. So when the Father's telling you to do something, he's telling you to lock in. That's all I'm saying. Let's continue.
Oh, but God. Oh, but.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's that moment where you go, you look for it, right? And it's not there, and then you jump.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we gotta be very careful, famous celebrity people, right? Putting rules down, telling folks this is how it goes. No. That is dysfunctional.
It's no rule. I'm not saying it's a set rule on how to be this or how to be that, because one thing me and Kirk is a firm believer of is no man of perfection. It's only a man of progress.
Right.
My thing is the things that I went.
Let me see what's all right. So to say that you can have heaven on earth is to say that you can live in bliss. You can't with the sound mind. We depend on external circumstances to as humans. That's the of course. That's the complete opposite. Yeah, that's the opposite of bliss. And I totally agree with that. Yeah. Bless you. And yeah, I mean that's definitely the point. The point is that we're going to go through tribulations, right? Like I said, you can get a place where you in a spot where you're content, but you're going to always have some troubles. You're going to always have some woes. You're going to always have something you got to defend. All right. So the earth is to prepare for the kingdom. That's right. Prepare for the kingdom, to determine where people will decide to be at the end of the age. And that's definitely true. It's honestly, it's kind of, it makes you nervous, right? Because you're like, man, I want to be perfect. I want to go on to perfection. I think we got to do the best we can to walk this thing out the way that Yeshua told us to walk, to love our brothers, right? To love our brothers, right? And to treat others as we would want to treat ourselves. Love the brethren. We got to move how Yeshua said, and we can keep the law perfectly. Every single law, we can keep it perfectly if we just go based on what Yeshua told us to do, right? Move like that. We can do it. If you believe yourself to be too righteous, then guess what? You can't be challenged on nothing you say or do. So you're operating in pride and you're operating in arrogance. Pride coming before what? The destruction comes before the fall, right? In a haughty spirit, right? Pride and a haughty spirit. That is the fall and that is destruction upon you. But when you're humble and you've been honestly chastened, honestly, because the Most High will chasten you. If he love you and he know that you're arrogant and prideful, he will tap that hiney. Tap that hiney. He will listen, he at your rear end until you get it right, until you get that pride out you, until you get that arrogance out you. He's at your rear end and he will not let up until you fix it. Once you fix it, then that's when he'll receive you. That's when he'll start to let you move in his love on this earth. That's when he'll start allowing you to be content. He'll allow you to be at peace, right? But let's continue, y'all. Let's continue.
Same thing you went through, same thing you went through, same thing you going through, same thing you go through, same thing. No matter what age or none of that shit. It's all built to create the foundation of your relationship with the Most High. That's why I said the road leads back to two.
And I think what Jonathan is saying is that in that moment, you can't discern or decipher that.
But NLE is and he's smart as fuck. And he's his own. You carved out your own way, so you understand.
I see that.
You understand by being your own boss. So nobody can really tell you nothing.
No, that's not true.
No. Let me just finish. Let me finish.
That's not true. That
No, you're right. No, you listen. No, you listen too. No, you listen too. No, you listen too. But what I'm saying is, you're think about it. And I know your mom. I know you you manifested where you are. Right?
Yes, sir.
So you understand that.
The grace of God.
Cool. That's what you feel.
That's what I know.
Got it. Now, do you feel like you're at that experience level to where you can tell these and give these some advice?
Do I?
Really? You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like you can give Jonathan some advice?
Do I feel I'm at that level?
Yeah, not successful. No, I'm talking about experience. Yeah, do you feel like that?
I can only give where man is willing to receive.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't answer the
Break
question.
it down.
Do you feel like your experience? Do you feel like your experience in the world that
Yes.
you can give Jonathan some advice?
If he's willing to receive.
That's right. I just smoke a cigarette.
So let me jump in and say this. Watch this.
And so that's where it ends at right there for this one. But one thing that I really wanted to touch on as well is NLE goes in even depth, right? And talks about his level of discontentment, right? Like he's not happy with individuals who is trying to speak on Jesus or Yeshua in a certain light. Now this one has sparked a lot of controversy. I really want to open this up because he spoke on something that was actually really, really important to hear, right? And I want to do a clip of it, but you know how it is, man. I think that they got some sound behind it. As far as like,
One of the
all right,
things I have a problem with,
here we go.
and it may be controversial.
It
A lot
is.
of people may say this and may say that. I don't like, let me say it in a manner to where it's extremely intelligent. In Christianity, it's a thing where people praise the Son more than they praise the Father. And that's what I don't like.
Okay.
Because if we are man made in a likeness, Jesus is our brother. You get what I'm saying? Why would I drop down and praise my brother instead of praising my father? And that goes back to honoring your parents.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I need your help on this. You weren't raised in church, were you?
My grandmother on my dad's side took my pops to church 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes 2 times a day.
What about you?
I'm a product of that.
Okay.
That veered my father away from church.
Wow.
I wasn't in church every day and all this.
Good,
Every
good.
Sunday. I was not. I can't say.
Which is
but
good.
I still receive what he felt. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a generational thing.
Yes,
that gets
yes, sir.
passed down.
Yes, sir.
So whether I feel it the way he felt it or not, I still feel it secondhand. You feel me?
Well, let me tell you why I said that. It's because I appreciate and love when people did not have to be forced to go to church and have stuff thrown down their throats, because it gives them a different way to paint their picture of the journey.
I get what you're saying. But going to church isn't the solution, man. One of the things I have a problem with.
All right, so that's what he had to say in regards to one of the things he has a problem with in regards to Christianity. Okay, and you know, my thing is that when we're talking about a lot of these things, who really agrees with this position? What do you guys think? Like, before I actually weigh in on this, I want to know what y'all believe. What do you guys think about NLE Choppa saying what he just said? And if you need me to play it back, let me know. I can play it back for you real quick, okay? But what do you guys think about him saying what he just said in regards to Jesus and him being a brother? Him, of course, people worshiping Yeshua or Jesus, the Messiah, more than they worship the Father, Yahweh, right? What is your thoughts on this? Right? I'm gonna jump into the chat room real quick and see what's up. Mike and the rest of them are hyenas and not children of the king. Absolutely. I agree with that. 100%. He got that point right. Worship Yah and Yah alone. Yeah. Yeah, so we got one. What else do y'all think, man? Y'all let me know. What do you think? What do you think about him saying that people in Christianity worship Jesus, Yeshua, more than they worship the Most High Yah, more than they worship Yahweh, more than they worship what you would call God, right? The Creator, right? The one who sent him. That he's saying that Yeshua or Jesus is being worshipped more than the Most High Yah when it comes to Christianity. Is what he's really making a distinct difference there with Christians or Christianity. All right. All I'll say is I've studied all the God's names in the scriptures. I serve the Creator, period. Absolutely. Absolutely. And being in servitude of the Creator, bar none, right? And so this is where the controversy sparks, right? Because, you know, some individuals believe that, of course, Yeshua or Jesus is God, okay? Is the Most High, is Yahweh, right? That he is. And they believe, of course, it's just Yahweh or it's just the Most High playing or operating in a different stance or different role in your life or whatever it may be. And my thing is that this is a very controversial topic, but I think that once you are looking at it in a certain light, once you have fallen in the position of idolatry, potentially, right? That's where it becomes a salvific issue, because if Yahweh said that he is the Elohim and he is only one, and that to not keep any other Elohims before his face, I believe that he also means the one who was created, because Yeshua had to eat, Yeshua had to sleep, Yeshua had genetics that also resembled mankind, right? He got those genetics from his mother, from Mary. You understand what I'm saying? And he also had divine genetics. Yeshua also had to be tested like any of us had to be tested. Yeshua also stated that he himself was not above us as servants. And that not only that he is our servants, right? That the master is not above us as servants, right? He's not greater than us. In fact, he depicts himself as being equal to us, right? And my thing is that we know that Yahweh is not our equal. We know that Yahweh is not our equal. Not only is he not our equal, but he is our father, right? Same thing with Yeshua. Yeshua always said, it's not me, but it is he who sent me, my father that sent me. He acknowledges his father and gives him all glory, and which we should follow the same vein and giving the father the glory. This is where it gets real controversial, because although Yahweh is playing and operating and coming as a living sacrifice through Yeshua, right? And his only begotten son, the word that was manifested in flesh, even though that role is valid, even though that role is genuine, it's still another role. Same thing. Like if my son right now tried to pretend like he was my father, right? That's a no. Absolutely not. I'm your father, right? You to listen to me. I'm the one who's in authority here. I gave life to you, right? I am the one who created you in my in my nutsack, in my loins, right? In my testicles, right? So it's like, even though that role has been given as a son, there's no way that son, like me myself, I can't pretend to be on the same level as my own father, right? Because my dad, my natural father, he is my natural father. There's no way that we're on the same plane. There's no way that we're on the same level. He's the one who created me, right? He's the one who did that. So, of course, through the Most High, right? Without the Most High, none of that could happen. But yeah, I can't put myself on his level. I can't pretend to be his equal, right? So the same order that we're doing here on this earth, right? Our elders, we can't put ourselves on that level, right? We can't put ourselves on the level of our father. The same thing. Yeshua, he's not going to be asking you to put him on the same level as Yahweh, right? He's not going to be asking you to put him on that level. In fact, he'll prefer you to treat him as who he is. He is the word manifested in flesh. He is he's Yeshua, the word manifested in flesh. He is the Son of Man, the Son of the Most High. He is our Savior, right? The living sacrifice. And so when he says these things, I can understand where he's coming from. I can understand where he's headed to when NLE is stating what he's saying. And it's a very controversial thing, but it could mean salvation. Now, for me to hold a position of saying that Yeshua is the word manifested in flesh and he is the Son of the Most High Yah, he told us to believe in that way. He told us to believe that he is the ultimate sacrifice and he is our master, right? He told us to believe that way, right? I don't believe that's a salvation issue for me. But if we are worshiping him like he is a God, right? Or like he is on the same level as Yahweh, then we could be jeopardizing our salvation. Our salvation could be at jeopardy because Yahweh is a jealous Elohim, right? So, and he's only one. And honestly, I believe he deserves all praise singularly. And then, of course, we acknowledge and give honor to Yahshua, right? Who gave his life, Jesus, who gave his life for us on that cross, on that tree. So, so it's a very debated topic. It's a very touchy topic. It's a very, let's say, yeah, it's one of those topics. You understand what I'm saying? That will spark controversy, and this is what sparked a lot of controversy when he spoke on it. Right? He spoke.